Oh my God, this is going to be so... Can we just start this episode with your laugh? Because it's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
I have had that comment so many times, like over the course of the last few years, and you'll notice like I have different laughs in different seasons of my life.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, this season is like cackle laugh. Like
like mad witch.
You're mad. Get the fuck out.
Mad witch. Okay. Shall I just, we're definitely, keep that in, Dean, because this is good. I love it. Okay. Well, welcome back to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. Today we are accompanied by, if you heard that cackle before, a mad witch. So I'm so excited to introduce this human to this space because I'm not convinced she is a human, which is a good qualifier as to why she's even invited onto this podcast in the first instance, because we don't invite or we don't interview average here. Okay, we are here for the full spice, the full buffet breakfast, and today you're going to get it. So this beautiful human is a 3 times. Hang on, let me just read out these accolades here because
stop.
Like, my gosh,
I added one this morning.
Okay,
we recalculated my portfolio of over the last 6 years. Turns out we actually managed a $1.65 billion portfolio, and I have been out here. Literally, I've been out here being like, yeah, our portfolio is 200 million. Our portfolio is 200 million.
And you're like, hold up, sister.
Literally, I looked back.
You're like, I've been gagging myself of my own fucking incredible amazingness.
Insane. I
Wow.
know. So I had to add that one in there. I was like,
Okay.
I'm about to come in here with a whole energy.
Oh, okay. If this is not giving you the vibes of what the next, I don't even know how long this episode is going to go for, but the energy in your ears, you will be vibrating in a different dimension after these two souls just riff. Oh my God. Okay. All seriousness, this beautiful human, she's the founder of Sir Ventures and the world-class Sir. Is that how we pronounce it, Sir? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Literally, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow. She is an international investor, speaker, and holistic growth consultant, redefining the way female founders not only achieve but scale and sustain and expand their success. Known for helping founders grow from multi-6 to 7, 8, and even 9 figures by building simple, sustainable, profitable, and movement-led brands. Wow. This human is amazing. I want to know who she is. She has built an elite reputation for not just scaling businesses, but for building founders worthy and capable of building billion-dollar visions. Fucking slurp that shit up, okay? If you're going to spend the next 45 minutes listening to something, it needs to be the words coming out of this human's mouth, because I'm about to tell you, she's going to drop some absolute cosmic wisdom today. She helps her clients through her signature methodologies. She helps founders turn their yearly revenue into their monthly baseline. Oh, Chef's kiss. Step into their highest level CEO identity, redefine the culture in their category. Oh my God, and build high growth, high impact businesses that truly stand the test of time. Oh my God, I'm going to give a round of applause for this.
Thank you.
Welcome, Lacey.
Thank you for having me.
Lacey Madison, the founder of Sir, to the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. Now, before we speak all the spicy truths, there is one thing that I request from you on this episode. And do you solemnly swear to speak all the spice and no sugar?
Yes, I solemnly swear. This was a hard one. When I saw your email, I was like, I am 99% sugar. Not in the terms of I dull things down, but look at my personality. I'm literally a walking bubblegum. And so I was like, you know what? I got to get my spicy hat on. I think I'm inadvertently controversial anyway. Everything I say is pretty controversial. So I'm very excited. Let's go.
Tingles. And you know what? I actually feel that too, because I feel that as well. I am very much walking bubblegum, and spicy isn't something that is all that I am, but I love talking the spicy and I love bringing attention to it. And it's this interesting paradox between the sugar and the spice and the sweet and the sour. And this is something that I just really want to dive into because I feel more people are benefiting from the spicy conversations and not the sugar-coated motivational, inspirational chats.
Yeah,
like we're not here
absolutely.
for hot girl spiritual talky poos. No. We're here for literally delivering all the things. So I'm like, here's my brain, brain goes, tell me a bit about yourself. But then also I'm like, give me the spiciest. So for consumer sake, for audience sake, tell me a little bit about you. Who are you? And just give me in a nutshell.
The spiel.
The spiel.
So I've been building, growing, scaling businesses for 10 years. I started in PR, like the content creation space before it blew up. And so this is why I say I kind of fell luckily into successful businesses, which I know is bullshit. Like I know at the core, I worked hard. I worked my ass off. I was in the right place at the right time. I pushed those connections, but like you can't help but feel like it's lucky that I was in the right place at the right time. Anyway,
is it luck? Or are you just, am I just smart? Or are you just like it's truly fucking iconic and
Bless
you were
you.
born with this energy and also an incredible like unconscious manifester as well.
Love this. You know what? Okay. I don't know if you guys care about this stuff, but I am a 6'2" projector.
Oh,
yeah. And
excuse
so
me. Sorry, can't
that's
talk to you
okay,
right now.
darling. Everything I say just comes true, whether it is good or bad. And it's just one of those things.
Copy paste that belief system though. And I'm also the same
Yeah,
though. I'm like
yeah.
everything that I want, I always get it.
Yeah, and
like
even
I
if
just
it's
had this
bad for
delusional
you
belief.
and you have to learn the lesson,
Yeah.
it happens anyway because you are so magnetic and you attract everything. You're like, universe, I want this. It gives it to you, even if
Yes.
it puts you on your ass. And it's like you need to learn the lesson.
Oh yeah.
And we've been there.
We've been there, girl, literally.
Yes, but I think over the last decade, I didn't just fall, obviously. So I'm a consultant, if you don't know. I didn't just fall into this space. We had 2 multi-million-dollar agencies before I started consulting. This is a story that I've spoken about on many different podcasts. And this is something that like I don't sugarcoat the fact that building a 7-figure business in just over 12 months is not for the weak of heart, especially not for a 19-year-old. I was very young.
Wow.
I just got into a relationship. I was literally running away from home. I was homeless. It was all the things. And so it was just like, it was a lot. And I learned a lot. And I guess that comes into what we're doing now, right? I learned what not to do and what to do in the sense of how do I want to build my life? How do I want to build businesses? Do I want it to feel this crazy and chaotic all the time?
Yes.
Or do I want to build for simplicity, sustainability, scalability, intention, profit? And that's when I started to build and develop a lot of the frameworks that we do today. So like you've said, I've invested in a dozen companies at this point, some of which also scaled to 7 figures in 12 months and exited, which is phenomenal and so exciting. If you don't know what that means, they just sold their business, which is really cool. Only 5% of women only ever 5% of women buy or sell businesses, which is a big deal when we do have women buying and selling businesses.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
So this is really new knowledge for me as well. And this makes so much sense now. Like one of like my closest friends, Ruby, and your client as well, she always used to talk about like buying and investing in businesses. And I couldn't really wrap my head around what that actually looked like. So can you like paint a little picture and just create an example of what actually buying and I guess, do you sell or you're more of an investor in the business world? Like, what does that actually look like for you and what role do you play in people's businesses when you invest?
This is a really good question and it's really, really different and it's really nuanced. The thing you have to understand about investing in M&A in any way, shape or form, whether it's private equity, private funds, angel investing. We can come back for another chat on this.
My brain right now is like, these are new words.
New words.
Okay, I'm just going to add that into my dictionary.
They're all different. There is no two deal that is the same. We specialize in minority investments. So whether it is an angel investment or whether we are acquiring a business, we are acquiring minority stakes, which means we take minority ownership of that business. There are lots of people that can acquire assets. So for example, one thing that I love to teach founders how to do is how to acquire customers, not by creating content, not by doing doing anything like that. I'm talking about literally buying customers. I'm talking about going to a business that has built exactly what you want to do, has all of your customers already there, the business is shutting down, they need somewhere to go, and the founder literally hands you the keys to be like, here you go, I have 100 customers, go ahead and go with it. For example, I had this founder, she just entered my mini mine. She was pregnant, everything was going on, life was just lifing for her. Her whole business was kind of just like to the ground. And she fell in this really lucky space where another founder in her exact industry was closing down, just change of scenery, they didn't want to do it anymore. Like that, literally overnight, she acquired $4,000 extra in monthly recurring revenue from customers she didn't have to work for. It's insane, right?
But how does she, like, okay, here's maybe like a very simple question. Do you need money to then invest into these businesses? How does she acquire? Like, because the way I'm thinking, like my mom, like, is currently, she's got a brick and mortar business. So she's just selling her beauty business that she's had for 30, maybe, about 30 years.
Oh my God.
And she's just selling it, right? And then, of course, the person who's coming in, they're buying the business, they're buying the customers, they're buying all of the stock, whatnot, and then this person's coming in and then going forward. But obviously she's had to buy the business and my mom has then sold the business. So how does it work differently in the sense of like buying, selling versus like investing and adopting the clientele that you're speaking about with your client's instance?
So when we're looking at buying and selling businesses, it can look, again, all different ways. But let's say your mum's case, for example. Your mum probably requested a more traditional sense of buying a business in the sense that there has to be hard cash upfront. I'm not sure about the structure, if you even know about the structure, but there's a lot of different, more creative structures, which is what I recommend my founders do, which is things like earnouts. So the founder that's selling, the seller, gets paid in accordance to the performance of the business. So
yes, actually, I've had this conversation as well with a few other people who are kind of in this industry. Yeah, this makes so much sense. Yeah.
There's also seller's finance.
Yeah.
So the seller fronts the money for the sale and then they get paid out in a multitude of different ways. Again, can be performance, but terminology is different. And then it could also be equity is another one that they can get paid out in for if the business sells, if they want to take dividends at any point. A lot of the time they will ask for some amount up front. So whether it's $5,000, $25,000 or $50,000, at the end of the day, those price points are a lot easier to front up than, let's say, $100,000 or even $1 million for a business. So there are lots of things that you can do. When we are looking at minority acquisitions, where the founder still retains majority sharehold of that company, majority ownership, majority control, what we are doing is there are a few different things. When I'm angel investing, I usually get equity, so a certain amount of equity, depending on how involved my company is. So that could be anywhere between 0.1, 0.5%, all the way up to 25%, depending on how much my company is actually doing. And so they still retain ownership, they still retain control, but they bring us in as advisors or put us on the board, or they need certain resources or networks that we have. Sometimes they need straight up money. They're like, I physically cannot grow unless you give me this money. And so sometimes we have to front money in exchange for that equity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, this is so interesting. My brain is like, oh my God, soaking all up the juice. This is so cool because like recently I've really been looking at expanding, like my entrepreneurial brain is starting to like tick over, right? So I've built and scaled my own personal brand, my own personal business. And now my brain is like tapping into that entrepreneurial space of like, how can I guess, build multiple streams of income and really expand my portfolio as a business owner. Like brand acquisition, everything like that. So I'm like, okay, well, if I don't necessarily want to build another business and not have to really require having to give my time in exchange for cash flow, then investing seems like the logical way forward. What do you think are some of the things that people neglect or like don't actually realize is involved by going down this route?
Oh, I would say one of the biggest problems we see is due diligence. Not enough founders do enough due diligence. So this is basically, think of it like an audit. You need to audit the business. And it doesn't matter who you're bringing in. I do due diligence on team members. I do them on strategic partners. I do it on clients. Like I am very my space is my sanctity. And so I do due diligence everywhere. So best believe if I am sending you money or I'm putting effort into a business in exchange for equity, we spend anywhere between 14 to 45 plus hours just on due diligence alone.
Wow.
Looking at the finances, looking at the operations, speaking to the team members, speaking to the founder, understanding founder fit. Like, I think that's, a lot of people think, oh, let me just chuck money around left, right, and center. It's not that easy. I think angel investing is fun and it's a hobby. And if you have really good networks around you, you don't have to do as much due diligence because, again, if you trust your network, you can do it. You can also hire people to do it for you. But I think that's the biggest thing that most people need to know when they get into that space that they might not really know about is prepare for it like you do any other investment. Do your due diligence, do your research, make sure you know where your money is going to ensure it's a good investment. Like a stock. You're not just going to invest in a stock because someone told you to invest in it. You're going to look at the history. You're going to look at the history of the company, understand its culture, understand the mission, understand the vision, look at buy-in. What's the market doing? Like, you're going to understand lots of things before you do it. And I think that that's a really core part of not just how I invest and how I just operate business in general. You'll notice I'm a very structured person. And this is what I talk to Ruby all about all the time is especially in your dynamic, how you are just this magnet. You are this machine when it comes to content and people and abundance and energetics. And she was like that. Let's look at structure. I'm a little robot.
I know. Also, quick side note, what is, like, you mentioned like a full 6'2", like what's your human design?
Projector.
Okay, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this makes so much sense. Like, it's like, oh, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, I am not put on this earth to do, baby girl. I am here to lead.
Like, You go here, you go here. You're just like putting the pawns wherever you want them on the chessboard. And then you're like, okay. And also, of course, this makes sense that we haven't connected by now because I didn't come to you. I didn't invite you. Fucking projectors.
Wait, so what are you? You're obviously a gen of some sort.
Many gen.
Yeah, I assumed as much.
It's so obvious. Yeah. But yes, it's so interesting that you say that. Obviously, you're what, like you're dotting your T's, crossing your I. Like, wait, I said that wrong.
We get it, baby girl.
We get it. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, which is like, okay, it's great to have the partnership, and this is why Ruby and I really, I guess, flowed so easily is because she was that part. Yeah. And she was like, she was just like, all right, we're going to dot this I here and cross this T here. And I'm just like, I'm doing. Yeah. So it works so well. And that's really interesting. And it's so, and I kind of want to come back to this question in the sense of like when you're speaking about doing your due diligence and spending time to really getting to know the business, the employees, the finances, the flow and everything like that. I want to ask, what is something that's so unorthodox but is a non-negotiable for you when you invest into a business or a company? Ooh. Like something that's just like so random. Like is there anything like super woo-woo that you do?
Okay, this it's not woo-woo, but the one thing I really look for is founder fit. And let me take it from this lens. I'm looking for a crazy fucking founder. Like I'm looking for a founder that is like, I don't care what anyone says. This is my vision. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. And I think there's so much consistency, not even with investing. I think in our work as consultants as well, one of the biggest things we struggle with clients is this imposter syndrome. This, oh, I have this vision, but I'm not ever going to be able to achieve it. Or what if I achieve it? And it's not everything that I want. There's so much fear and hesitation. Yeah. And when I'm not consulting, especially in an investment capacity, I can't have someone that doesn't already have that. They need to have that ambition, tenacity, drive, that hunger. If they don't have that, I'm not investing. It doesn't matter how good the business is, how much it's made, what the community looks like. The founder needs to be an animal, and if they
delusion. This is what I speak. This is delusional energy. There is no other plan. There is there is no if buts or like when what ifs. It's like this is happening, and I have no other option but to create this. And I love this because this is like fully how this is like it's like that bulldog energy just fucking charging. And you know, sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, whoop, kind of made a mess, but anyway, we got here. Yeah, woohoo! It's a ride, and also it's so fucking required. And it's so interesting that you mentioned imposter syndrome because I have a very interesting belief around imposter syndrome that I actually think, one, it's necessary, and two, it's a privilege. Like to this extent, like it's a privilege because it means that you're outside your comfort zone, and it means that you're stretching your capacity and putting yourself in a position that you wouldn't have done before. And I actually think if you can identify that you're in imposter syndrome, it's something that my mentor taught me as well, is quite very married to imposter syndrome, is that fraud feeling of like, who am I to do this? Like who's going to believe me? Who's going to buy from me? Like, I feel like a fraud because I'm doing something that I don't quite yet have the full evidence for, which is very like orthodox, logical, 3D matrix thinking, as opposed to someone who's got that delusional, crazy vision. They don't necessarily need the evidence because all the evidence is in their belief system and in their vision, in their I'm fucking creating this and I will create the evidence. And I feel like the fraud feeling, if you can lean into that, you're halfway there. And that, what I was saying, is something that my mentor taught me. She's like, follow the fraud feeling, because that's going to make things time collapse and quantum shift you into the person that you're becoming. And it's obviously married with, of course, due diligence and also integrity to be fully in embodiment with what you're doing. And also, I feel like having the ability to really lean into that imposter syndrome and really lean into that feeling of like, who the fuck am I? It probably means that you're on the right path.
Well, I love that you say this, and you say such an important thing here. Lean into it. And that is the problem, is people lean out of it. Yes. They're like, oh, I feel like an imposter, let me lean back. And it's like, no, when you feel like this, you need to stop listening to your thoughts and start moving through it. Yes. That is the whole point. And I love that you say that, because ultimately, that's it. At the end of the day, you ask what's the difference between founders that we've worked with that stay stuck at 6 figures versus those who scale to 7, 8, 9 figures. At the end of the day, the founders that move. The ones that don't. It's like in a mini mind, for example, or a mastermind. You've got people in there that are still in there 6 months later, which I don't like people to be in my mini mind for that long, but they're still in there 6 months later because they don't move. Yeah. They just have these feelings and they stay stuck in these feelings. And it's like, finding that click. What's that thing that just clicks in their brain and rewires enough neural pathways to get us over the line and start moving despite how we feel. That's really the only difference. And so I love all of this.
Yeah, this is so great, because it's just this, it's almost like this fine line that we walk. And I think especially with the conscious entrepreneurial space, it's a lot about feeling into the alignment and feeling that it's aligned. And it's like, yes, and also it's gonna feel fucking uncomfortable. Like, it needs to be. And it's
I'm so glad you said something, because I was literally, obviously you're all about like abundance and like energy and stuff. So I was like, I don't know where she's going to go with alignment, but like also outside of discomfort, building successful businesses is boring. We do the same thing day in, day out. We are so scheduled. We are so regimented. We're not looking for the next shiny object syndrome all of the time. It's not always exciting. It's not always fun. Like, it's building a fucking business. Like, what are we doing? And so I think it's realigning this. Women left the workforce because they weren't seen. They weren't given the freedom that they needed to be able to work within the constraints of the female body. They weren't taken seriously in the workplace. So then they started building businesses. But then when they build businesses, they're met with people like us that are building big fucking businesses. Like, we have big visions, big dreams, big goals, big ambitions. And there's a disconnect. And so you've got this big sea of women that really only want to be seen, valued, heard, and like have freedom and just make money doing it. But then you've got the other side of women that are like, give like me animals. Everything. Like a man who $1 billion who give that to me. And so it's just like reconditioning women to be like, okay, we understand and we empathize. There's this whole group of women over here. We love that for you. And like, we want that for you. You want that freedom. You want that flow. You can have that. But like when you want to build a business like us, there's some sacrifice there and it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to test you, and not everything is going to feel abundant and freeing all of the time. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's part of building business. That's it.
And I think there's like this huge shift towards like the feminine flow and the feminine way of things. And I'm a contributing part of it because I do work in the energetic space, and something that I also teach my clients is it's the integration of both.
Yep.
Because you, just like the pendulum swings one way into the masculine hustle culture, it can equally swing the other fucking way into the feminine flow where you're just basically doing fucking nothing. And
we just sit pretty.
I'm just a magnet. And I'm a fucking magnet, but I'm an animal when I fucking need to be. Like, I will get shit done when I need to be. And something that my partner always, she like likes to call me Miss Integrity, because I have this thing where I'm like, I said I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If that means I have to run 5 kilometers in the morning when it's pouring down rain, I will do it, because I said the night before I'm going to go for a 5-kilometer run tomorrow morning. But and it's raining. But I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to fucking do it. And she just has this, it's like this running joke that I'm called Miss Integrity, because it's like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. And that, like, there's parts and points of my business evolution where I definitely was not fucking in feminine flow.
Yeah.
No, I was in the masculine hustle. I need to work right now. And the analogy that I kind of pull this into is like, when you think of a plane taking off, like, it needs to be full throttle. Like, it is gunning down the tarmac, gunning straight forward to its goal. And it has to have all fucking guns blazing, all engines on full speed, on full, you know, going for it to lift the plane off. And it's got to keep going whilst it's lifting off, fully all of the engines on, for it to then get up to an altitude that it can sit in cruise control. And that is basically what a business is like, is running down, literally running down the stream and like pushing until you can get up and fully just like be in the altitude of flowing frequency. And that is what, for me, is what it's like building a business.
And I literally, it's so funny. I literally made a thread about this morning of that. I just need to I've got like a little bit of mucus in my throat.
Get it down.
Get that down.
Yeah. Just get that.
Give me 1 second.
Yes. The second.
But yeah, I literally posted a thread about this morning of like, I'm not here nor there of hustle culture or flow culture. I think that building big businesses really requires both at different times. And if you're not willing to do the full throttle, if you're not willing to like just put in the effort and the energy and the hustle and the grind to get it lifted off the ground, what are you doing here? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a business. You've got to build the foundations to get to that place. And so I've never heard that analogy, and I love it so much. It's so good, because I think it's the most accurate representation of what's actually required of you energetically to get to that place. I'm like talking like this instead of
I know, it's because it doesn't fully spin, but it's so fun.
It's all right, baby girl.
Yeah, it's for the angles, you know, the jawline, which it's all part of the branding, obviously. Branding is everything.
We love this.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. I think, what do you think is a misconception in your industry? Especially for female investors as well.
Not even just investors, founders across the board. One of the biggest things that I'm really battling with right now is that people think, which, not to tie it back to your analogy, but I'm gonna tie it back. People think that getting the plane to lift off the ground is the worst part. They think that like, if I just get the plane off the ground, then I can get in cruise control and I'll stay there until I get to my destination. Fuck no. There is no way. And this is why, literally in my bio, I have it as a core part of our messaging. I'm not just teaching you how to achieve success. Anyone can teach you how to achieve success.
Yeah.
What I'm teaching you how to do is how to sustain it and grow it. Sustaining is the hardest part. Do you know how many founders I have coming to me being like, 3 years ago, sales were off tap. I could literally post one story saying this thing or posting a client screenshot and I'd make a sale that day. Now, I feel like I'm pulling tooth and nail. Yeah. And it's because the industry is changing. You don't know how to change with it. You get left behind. And that's what no one's teaching you. People teach you how to scale to 100K months. What happens then? What happens when you're at 100K months? How are you going to make sure you're making 100K months every single month until you're ready to scale to the next one, which then requires a different level of skill, acumen, knowledge, leadership. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is if you just build it, it's built. Fuck no. Like, you have to know how to stay in the game. Yes. And this is why I think we reference so many founders as like chessboard players. We're all very competitive, and it's because you have to be. To stay in the game, you have to be competitive. You have to know that like, this is not my personal best. Let me get to my next one. It's like people at the gym, right? They are shredded because every single time they get in the gym, they're like, let me hit that next PB. Why are we as founders not doing that? Why are we working for the cruise control? Why don't we work to keep on getting to the vision and do our very best every single day throughout the journey to get there? Does that make sense?
Do you think there is an end point though? If you're consistently growing and scaling and moving to the next level and the next level and the next level, do you think there is an endpoint?
No, I think that honestly, the key in life is that life is just a journey and there are multiple endpoints. It's like when you're going on a flight. There are different destinations and you're just going to keep on hitting different destinations at different points in time. And I think that like the destination in different points of time looks different. In one season of your life, it might truly just look like balance, ease, survival. That's okay. In another season of life, it might look like let's fucking go. Let's go full throttle. Let's have our biggest year yet. Let's hire on 3 new team members. Let's expand globally or let's expand to 2 more countries. Like it might be that big. And I think in every single season, it's just a little bit different. For example, my end goal, I'm very clear on what that end goal is. And so I know when I get there, fantastic, but I also know my personality is like, okay, I've got in here, now what's next? So yeah, to that point, I don't think there's ever an end point. I think it's always just an endless chess match.
Naturally. I'm curious to know, were you like the high achiever in school?
There we go.
Takes one to know one.
Listen, I was just that girl without studying, without like, okay, I probably showed up to maybe like 30% of my classes. I was not good. I was severely depressed, severely anxious. I had no friends. Like, it was just not a good time. Anyway.
Story for another day, Paige.
Yeah. But like, I was just that girl that without studying, without reading a book, without doing anything, just like cramming, you know, a little bit of like stress knowledge the night before, I would consistently hit like 87 to 99% on a test.
Right, so no wonder why you had no friends, because everyone was like, for fuck's sake, Lacey, she doesn't do anything. Yeah, she always gets the fucking results. No wonder.
Okay, I was also trouble, bitch. I was out here doing the most in high school, but it's like, and I think it's just a testament to who I am. So like when it comes to academics and like picking things up or like investing, like I just consume myself in the world. I get to know a few people, shake a few hands. I learn a lot. The thing that I'm really competitive with and high achieving is like meeting my own potential in the sense of whatever that is in that season of life. So for example, right now, meeting my own potential is like getting out there and doing more speaking. For a really long time, I hid away and I was like it's not about the money. It was truly about like, yeah, I can make money on autopilot. I just want to be around my kids. Now I'm like, but at what end is that just like not enough? I want to be out there. I want to be talking. I want to be doing things. And so in this season of life, reaching my full potential is doing that. And it's like I was literally just talking about in every single season of life, you're going to have a different milestone. You're going to have a different thing that is your definition of high achieving. Actually, let me preface. I think one thing that makes my businesses work so well is that at the core of what we do, we have a value called mastery. Everything that we do is through the lens of excellence and mastery. It means that if you're going to learn something, fucking learn it well. If you're going to be a team member that I'm hiring to do something, you better be the best. Like it's just one of those things. Everything is about mastery. And I think less of myself, because I hold myself to a really high standard every day. But I think the thing that works so well is that I expect it of other people. And people aren't used to that. People are like, I don't know, they just expect people to like validate them in their experience all the time. And like
no. I'm here to hold you to a higher standard.
Yeah, every single time. And I think I see a lot of people talking about doing that on the internet. It's a different thing to actually do it. I say all of the time, like I speak about this openly, that my clients within the first 2 months of working with me, they're like, what the fuck? Like, what have I done? They're literally like, I'm crying. I'm crying on the floor. What am I doing? This is crazy. This is hard. I want to lean out. I want to detach. I don't want to work here anymore. And then they're like, I can't leave. Like, this is just, you showed me things about myself and my business that no one has even bothered to take the time to hold a mirror on. And so I think that like when you say, are there any areas that are like high achieving in your life? It's like, that I expected of others just as much as I expected of myself.
Yeah, it's holding the standard and also like the mirror. And I think a lot of especially in the coaching space, it's like people don't have the audacity. Well, it's not even that it's audacity, it's actually integrity. Yeah. It actually comes back down to, again, being in integrity with what you, like as a business mentor and as a business coach, you have that standard for your clients, because you're like, if you're going to come into my world and I'm going to invite you into my world, into my proximity, then I'm going to hold this standard for you. And if you're not willing to do that and meet that, then this isn't the space for you, because in here, in this space, we're fucking making moves. We are changing, we are growing, we are exponentially scaling. And if you don't have the grit for that, well, then this is not your space, and you can go find someone who's going to validate your feelings and keep you stuck in that same space.
Couldn't have said it better, baby girl.
Finally, I met my match.
Yours is like a little cat pearl. Mine's like, rah.
Yeah.
So done with us.
Yeah. Just like little sparkle, little sprinkle.
You have such nice teeth, by the way.
I was literally
so
looking
white.
at yours.
Oh my gosh, no.
I'm looking at yours right now and being like,
Makeup
yes.
girl.
Isn't that funny how you usually
stuff.
like pin out
I
like
know.
things and the other person's usually like thinking
Look
the
right
same
back.
thing? Mirrors. This is what we're talking about, people. Mirrors.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love this. I want you to bring back to like your potential. And you mentioned it before around, you know, that when you, I guess, reach your potential, you know what that is. And I'm curious to know if you're willing to describe, explain what that potential is for you, what that vision is for you.
For us, the $1 billion vision has always been building the next, I don't know how much you know about just like traditional consulting culture, but have you heard of the Big Four? Like KPMG, like,
No.
okay. Basically, there are these 4 institutional R&D consulting companies. They are a mix between accounting, business and management consulting, tech consulting, all kinds of things. They're all run by men, just old, white, crusty ass people running around. It's just like
White, crusty ass man. Not this space. Lacey's like, I'm coming in.
I'm coming
Big clit
in.
energy. Let's go.
Yeah. And like, I've always known that I might not ever see the vision myself, and that's okay. Like, I've always known that I'm
Yes.
building for so much bigger than me.
Oh my God. I love this
Yeah.
conversation. This is
Yeah.
something that I really speak into a lot, is you may not know specifically what that is. And this is a lot of like where I tie in spirituality with the business development side of things, is it's like allowing your intuition to guide you, knowing that, okay, I need to go down this route, or I need to connect with this person, or I need to travel to this country, or I need to invest in this business. I don't specifically know why, but I just know this is what I have to do. And it's this interesting paradox between like your human logic brain is trying to figure it out on a logical level. Yet our soul isn't constrained by logic. Therefore, this is why we have that intuition, that the heart-led or the gut-led feeling. And it's interesting because physiologically, we actually have an entire network of neurons in our gut and in our heart that actually fire more neurological frequencies and vibrations and basically pings from our heart and our gut more than our brain. So what happens is when we have the gut feeling, that heart feeling being like, I know it within my heart that this is what I need to do. Or my gut is telling me that I need to, invest in this mentor or run this event or, fly to this country. My human brain can't logically figure it out right now. And that is physiologically actually happening because right now you're firing more neurological neurons and hormones from your gut and your heart, telling you that this is where you need to go. And a lot of people get stuck in this, like they haven't been able to fully surrender into allowing their gut or their heart to guide them first. They're still stuck in this human brain logic. And that is what keeps people perpetuating the smallness loop, in my opinion. So I love that you brought up this pathway because I don't know.
I can you can speak about it for days.
Yeah.
But it's so true. And I was speaking to, if you guys haven't heard of Sydney Riker, she was someone I had on my podcast and she's absolutely phenomenal. And her mentor was like a monk, or I'm not going to coin shit that's not mine, right? We're going to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And she talks a lot about how we as women, not even just as people, as women, we have become so detached from our body and our soul that, like you said, we're so stuck in here.
Yeah.
And it's why there is so much anxiety, so much fear, so much imposter syndrome, because we're consistently using this when it was never designed for that.
Yes.
Like we as women were supposed to make decisions from here. I think that let me say this carefully, because data-backed decisions is a fundamental core of what we do. However, what I always encourage women to do is look at the data, look at the statistics. What is it telling you? Great. Now you have the information. Now what does your gut say?
Yeah.
And then go from that, right? Because when we start to slow down and connect mind back, not connect mind, when we get out of our mind and back into our body and our soul, you will build much bigger things. And I talk about this with clients all of the time. When they over-strategize things, baby girl, strategy is only 16%. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say it. There's mindset, capacity, knowledge, skill, strategy, and execution precision. So each of those things equally are around 16.3% of how we build successful businesses. Strategy is not everything. Get the fuck out of your head and into your body, into the experience, into the journey, and trust that every decision you make is the right one. Whether or not you fall on your ass, you need to know that you have the knowledge, skill, capacity, execution, precision, whatever it might be, to get back up and do the thing.
Right.
But it's because women are so scared. So they're in here because they're just like, I'm scared. What if I fall on my ass? And it's like, well, you're okay.
You probably will.
Yeah,
at some
like,
point.
it's
okay. It's okay. I'll be there to pick you up.
I fell on my ass today. No, not today. Yesterday. Like, it happens. And this is actually a big thing that I wanted to talk about of like another big misconception, something saucy. We have this understanding that as consultants, or when you learn to build a good business and a really streamlined business and a successful business, that nothing goes fucking wrong and nothing should go wrong. Bullshit. It's like, you actually lost the plot. Everything goes wrong. When you look at, okay, let's talk about Cardone Ventures, for example. Huge company. What? Is 8-9-figure company at this point? I don't know. Huge company. They had one of their lead consultants bring their clients to a strip club in their uniform to hold a consulting meeting at the strip club. What do you think that exactly? What do you think that says about the company, right? And it's like, this is happening in a very large organization, but little things like this happen in organizations just, oh my God, where's my English? Organizations just as small as ours, right? And so it doesn't matter how big you get, how much money you make, how much success you have, how much you know, how much you have been taught to scale, shit will still happen. Mistakes still happen. Things still fuck up. You have to be kind on yourself. You will fall on your ass. Yeah. Get back up. Keep leading. The world doesn't stop. Yeah. Right? It's like if Taylor Swift fucks up at a concert. Oh, can I swear?
I think we've been swearing the whole time.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I feel like a pirate. I didn't even realize. But it's like if she messes up at a concert, no one's going to be like, I'm not booking your next concert. She's not going to be like crying on her Instagram story being like, I'm the worst. She's going to get up, keep on making music, keep on promoting it, doing her thing.
Exactly. You know? And I always believe that usually a rejection is just a redirection, or like,
ooh, that's a good one.
There's always a pivot. Yeah. And we say like hindsight is a beautiful thing, yet it's true, because in that moment, whilst we cannot conceptualize what is actually happening, and it's so easy to go into that guilt, into that shame, into that spiral of fuck, I fucked up, I'm a failure. Usually in those moments, that is where the champion rises, right? And we know this from any movie. Any hero's journey goes through the crumbling. And it's in that moment where you build the resilience, the strength, the bravery, the courage, the tenacity to look at what you actually want to create and commit to that and be really real with yourself in knowing that, yes, this is what I signed up for. And I'm willing to move beyond this because I know on the other side of it, that is what I want to create, and that is what I want to experience in this world. It's like, for me, I have gone through, like most recently gone through a very interesting experience with that required like lawsuits and legal suits and stuff like that. Things that I would never even thought of in my business, yet this had been presented to me and allowed me to look through the lens of, oh, I actually get to expand my business from this place. Not look at it as, holy fuck, I'm doomed and there goes my business. It's actually, wow, I'm so blessed for this opportunity, because now it's allowed me to really expand myself, the company, work within the system, not fully against it, but work within the system to have protection and like legalities. Like you've got your trade, like your methodology trademarked. I never would have thought of that had I not gone through this process. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I get to go through this journey and step into like full ownership, full responsibility and of my business and as a company, and trademark my modalities and my methodologies, because I am here for big things and I know I'm here to scale and be known like Australia-wide, globally. So I get to go through these now to set up the systems, the foundations, and the protection for when I am at that place. So it's like every step there is, every level has a new devil. It's like what we speak about. And this level, that was my devil. And And instead of being like filled with shame and guilt and I fucked up, this is a failure, and being stuck in that spiral, it's an opportunity to grow and to expand and to then level up, because I feel like I know that it actually allowed me to level up in my business and in my company to be bigger and to actually have the foundations in place to expand beyond what I was previously thinking. I was never thinking in this way. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking big shit. I'm thinking big dick energy now.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it, because I know it's so hard for a lot of founders to speak openly about, like shit happens in the business. And I think the really important part of your story is that you didn't tie the experience, whatever happened in that experience, to your identity. And that is the problem that keeps people stuck, is founders have, maybe a poor experience with a client, or maybe something happens and someone tells them something, or maybe they make content and someone shares in a group chat and talks shit. Whatever the experience, they tie whatever happened in that experience to their identity, and then they let it define them and they hold on to it, and then they make decisions from that experience instead of, just like what you did, rising from the ashes and realizing, that's not my truth. That's not my experience. That was me yesterday. I'm a different person today. And best believe I'll never make the same fucking mistake twice. Yeah. And that's the difference between founders that scale and evolve and grow, is that they're willing to step into that. They're willing to hold grace for themselves for fucking up and doing whatever happened or have whatever happened, but still allow themselves to be like, this is my fuel to never do it again. And let me just keep on growing, keep on up-leveling, keep on thinking in ways that I never would have thought about. Yeah. You have to... this is the thing that frustrates me about coaching and consulting. Whoever you're hiring, coaches, consultants, mentors, doesn't matter. But the thing that frustrates me is they think, I'm going to bypass every single problem. Sometimes you bitches need to fall on your ass to learn. Like, sometimes you need to learn it yourself. Because I have a lot of clients that they hear me and they comprehend what I'm saying. It's like me as a teenager. My dad would tell me something and I'm like, let me learn it myself. And I would say
Did you just refer to your clients as teenagers?
Okay, we're all in a long season. But yeah.
No, but it's so funny because it's like, when you say that, I was like, oh my God, I've been a teenager client before. Been like, okay, I'm going to do it my way. Anyway, we live and we learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's the only way you can grow.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. It's so good. I want to ask you a few questions because we have been riffing and I'm here for it.
I can't believe it's already finish. This time.
I know. I'm like, I need to know more about you. Where have you been in my life? Seriously. But I just want to pick a few questions out of the spicy list because this is, ooh, yes. Which one are we going for? That's juicy.
We love a good juicy
We
one.
love a good juicy. Okay. I feel like this is very much on the thread that we've been talking about. Okay. So we're going to run with this one. Beautiful. What do you think most people are faking online right now, and how can we actually tell the difference?
Do we have time? Like, this is one of the things.
Like, you said that you have a few minutes left.
And how savage can we go?
Yeah, spicy. Okay. Remember the pledge. Okay. Yeah, all spice.
One of the things that I have been seeing so much in the online space, and for a long time, this isn't a new thing, but just like... whether it's fake use of income claims or not. For one, there is too much use of income claims across businesses that don't need it. I don't think any business needs it, for one, but across businesses that don't need it. There are businesses out there that are doing social media, sales, operations that are using income claims. It's like, why? We're not buying products for those things. I understand why coaches and consultants do it. Again, we don't need it, but I understand why we do it. There are so many people out there that are using it as a credibility marker, and it's not. Because, for one, they might be saying, I built a 7-figure business, but it's like 7 figures over when? Is it doing 7 figures annually? Is it doing 7 figures over the course of the whole time that you've been building a business? I've seen people literally say, I'm going to start making $500,000 months. And because I'm making $500,000 months, even though they're not, you're going to buy this course to show you how to do $500,000 months. It's just crazy.
This is the integrity piece. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
it ruffles my feathers too. I'm just like.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of those things, like when you want to decide and decipher, like who is telling the truth, who is not. don't look at the price anymore. When you want to look at good quality service providers, irregardless of what they're saying online, look at what they're actually selling. What tangible outcomes are they selling? For example, with us, we do a lot of capacity work. The money is a byproduct of the capacity work. For example, sales. The increase in sales is a byproduct of learning sales systems, skills, and knowledge necessary to sell. It's like for marketing. The money is a byproduct of learning how to, let's say, storytelling frameworks. I talk about that a lot, right? So it's like, what are they actually selling? What are you getting that irregardless of the financial ROI, you're actually seeing a tangible transformation on the money that you're investing? So that would be one of the first things. And
I love this. You're even giving. In my brain, I'm like, oh yes, this is great. I'm thinking about it for myself in my own business. I'm like, yeah, this is great information.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, that's the future of sales, right?
Yeah.
At least for the next 1 to 2 years, is people are so fucking. And I know this is going off topic, but this is just consumers are so burnt out and exhausted that they're looking for real.
Yes.
Real isn't an energy. It's not messaging. It's not anything. It's what is that thing? What is that thing that I can get from you that will work better than anyone else, irregardless of all of the promises that you make me? And if you can find out what that thing is, you will sell. Like, it's just, that's how life is working right now. Yeah.
Literally.
In terms of, what was the actual fundamental question? Lies?
Girly pop, the actual fundamental question was, what do you think most people are faking online right now, and how can we actually tell the difference?
Oh, this is such a good one. What do you think? I'm so curious to hear your brain, because that might give me ideas.
I'm gonna pull off that thread because I agree, and I see this so much in the industry as well, especially online income earners, of having false claims in a sense, and I'm here for the delusional energy. Like, fuck, I'm here for the delusion. And it's also like, I'm really gonna call some people out on this, but it's like income earner and like money manifestor queen, and you look at their profiles and you just know there's no marrying. There is no marry. It's like putting Vegemite and peanut butter together. There is no connection there. Yeah. You know?
Like, if you're going to say something, make sure your brand matches it.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's just a me thing, because I'm so something that I'm really like strong on is marrying your brand identity, your brand positioning with the embodiment of what you do and what you teach. And I really, like, it ruffles my feathers so much, because I've had conversations with people and they're making claims around the leading manifestation money magnetizer, and you look on their account and they've got like 1,000 followers and 400 real views. I'm like, baby girl, I'm sorry to break this to you, but you're not the Australia's leading money manifestor. I'm sorry.
Actually, I want to pull on that thread of like something that I see so many people faking, which I'm not going to lie, I think I kind of fell into this. I saw one of your questions of like, what did you used to do that makes you cringe now? Yes. I kind of fell into this archetype by external pressure of this guru archetype. And I think a lot of people tend to fall into it, irregardless of industry, because industry doesn't actually matter. Just founders tend to fall into this guru archetype. And I think so many people are starting to read through the fucking bullshit. No one knows everything. And if we keep on talking, like, if we keep on handing everyone a mic and then being like, oh, because you have a mic, you know everything. Yeah. Like, it's just, that's why the world is crumbling. That's why we see so many people making poor investments. Like, we need to have a level of discernment in ourselves to know, I'm not a guru. I'm not the best at everything. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm falling forward. And I think if we had a lot more conversations like that in the online space, we would all go a lot further. We'd feel a lot less isolated. We'd feel a lot less like we need to attain this perfectionism standard, because it doesn't fucking exist. And that is why I'm now calling myself on my own bullshit and being like, instead of always sharing the good stuff, Yeah, I'm going to talk about when my team fucked up and lost me a $16,000 client. Yeah, I'm going to talk about when this person did this thing, or we had this client mishap, or we had whatever, or, you know, I did financing or bookkeeping wrong on a certain thing. Like, we're going to talk about the real things that really end up hurting a business that you need to know about and that we need to talk about. Because just because you should be seen as an expert in any sort of field doesn't mean you're not going to fuck up. Doesn't mean, and I love this conversation. It's so cathartic in my like heart and soul right now, because there's not enough people just falling forward. There's not enough people having a conversation. Do you know Odd Muse?
That sounds familiar.
It's like a clothing brand. The founder's Amy something. But she, anyway, regardless, she shares a lot of she shares a lot of like just the shitty side of building a business. Not even the shitty side. It's not shitty. It's all part of it. But she shares all sides of building a business. And she has blown up. The business is absolutely blown up because people are like, thank God. Like someone actually real. Yeah. And fully. It's not that everyone's being fake. I think that there is genuinely just this pressure to only share one side.
Oh, fully.
Yeah.
I love this. How good. And I feel like that's such a good thing to end on as well. And for the listeners who are here in this point, because why wouldn't you be? Because this conversation has been juicy. And it's reflecting on, okay, where am I out of integrity? Yeah. Where am I out of alignment in how I'm showing up online? And how can I be more real? Like, it actually is that simple. Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
And I feel like people love you more for it. Actually, people do.
You'll repel people that aren't supposed to be here. Yeah. And that's the problem. We try to keep our cards so close so that we can be likable. Us as women, we run in flock culture, right? We want to be likable. We want to be accepted. And when the faster we understand that about ourselves and about our culture and about our sociology, the quicker we can change it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Lacey, I could literally talk to you all day. Hours.
We need another episode. I literally want to talk about all the cringe things I literally used to say that now you wouldn't catch me dead.
I know. I'm literally thinking of them all in my brain right now. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to say this. Rogue. All right. Thank you, my babes. How can people find you, of course?
Honestly, just go to Instagram, baby girl. You'll find everything there. Lacey Madison _.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. All right. I'll see you, sugars, in the next episode. Mwah.